Good morning, guys. So, in our last session, we have discussed a couple of options on our RDS. So, did you get any chance to perform this task, guys? This one? All right. If you haven't performed that, so please take some time and please try to perform that. Okay. So, here in today's session, we are going to discuss a couple of RDS backup options. So, how we can take backup and how we can restore that backup in our RDS. So, here is my RDS. And navigating to DB instances, create database, and quickly I'm going to create a database. And this time I'm going to enable automated backup. Here is a standard create. I'm going to take MySQL, scroll down. I'm going to take free tier eligibility. So DB instance name is database1 and master username is admin and password is Avinash123. I'm giving here, confirming the password. DB instance class, I'm going with db.t2 micro and I'm going with 20 gigs for the database storage, and multi-AZ I'm not going to enable this, and I'm going to choose my custom VPC public accessibility as no, and I'm going to select an existing security group, MySQL SC, and no preference, password authentication. And when coming to additional configuration, so you can give any database name. So I'm going to call this as a first DB, and backup I'm going to enable automated backup. So whenever we create any database, automatically it is going to enable the backup by default. If you don't want, you can uncheck this, but I want to enable backup for this. So I'm going to select this, and how many previous backups you want to keep. So in time of whenever we are facing any issue for this database, to how many days you want to restore. I want to restore, I would like to restore last 7 days back data, or last 10 days, or last 1 day is okay for me. So based on that, we need to select, right? So we do have an option called point in time recovery also. When coming to that point in time recovery, you can even pick a particular time frame. So if you want to get such type of options, you need to enable backup. So I'm enabling backup retention period, that I'm going to give 2 days. It will keep only last 2 days snapshots. More than 2 days one, it's going to delete automatically. Backup window, at what time this backup need to happen, if any, you can just go and you can select the window. Okay, backup need to happen at 12 a.m. and I'm giving backup duration for 1 hour. Monitoring, no. Enhanced monitoring, I'm not going to enable. Logs, I'm not going to export. And maintenance, auto mena version upgrade, if you want to enable, you can select this option. And when do you want to perform that, you can go and you can pick that, right? So then scroll down, create a database. Now one DB instance is creating. So if you navigate to snapshots, do we have any snapshots in manual? No. When coming to system, still no, right? Whenever we enable automated backup, automatically when DB instance is creating, we will get a backup copy. If we enable automated backup, we will get system backup while DB instance is creating. And whenever any major operation is happening on DB instance, AWS automatically creates a backup copy. And the important thing is we cannot delete these system backups. Whatever the one AWS is creating, we call them as a system backups. Whatever the one automated backup is also called as a system backup here. So, for example, as a precautionary thing, you want to create a backup manually. So, we can create a backup manually. So, these system backups deletes automatically based on the backup retention period. Based on the backup retention period, this is going to delete automatically. We cannot delete these manually. So otherwise, when we delete the DB instance, system backups deletes automatically. But when coming to this manual backup, we can create a backup manually. So those backups, we call it as manual backup, manual snapshot. And we need to delete these manually. Okay, so we can restore the new DB instances from backups called snapshots. So the backup option we are selecting here, that is called as a snapshot. So those snapshots we can use to restore to a new database. Right. So here is a databases. It is backing up. It is going to take some time. So meanwhile, let me navigate to EC2 and I have the jump server. And I have the jump server in stopped state. I'll run this start instance. So instead of launching, installing, I kept our last session jump server in stopped state. So then we can get connected. That application will be available. So just like EC2 instances, in EC2 we have reserved instances, right? Similarly, we have reserved instance option. We have reserved DB instances options in RDS also. So for that, navigate to reserved instances. Click on purchase reserved DB instances. So then we need to choose what is pricing mechanism. You want to go with a full upfront, partial upfront, no upfront, and what is the term, 1 year term or 3 years term, and what configuration you require. Do you want to enable multi-AZ deployment for this? Those options we need to select. Product description, what database you are going to, and if you see BYOL, BYOL stands for bring your own license. So if we can contact Microsoft and we can get license for SQL Server. EE is enterprise license, Express standard edition, Express edition, so web edition. So we can get license from Microsoft and we can apply that here. If you are going with MySQL, no, it's a general public license, GPL. So as it comes under GPL, general public license, we don't require any. So MySQL, what configuration you required? Then you can go and you can pick, okay, I need T3 large. So then do you want to enable multi-AZ? If yes, the cost is going to be double. We already know that. 1 year term. Offering type. So you want to go with the full upfront, no upfront, you can give that. Reservation ID, I'm not sure exactly it is. Number of DB instances, you can give this. So then one-time payment, as I selected full upfront, so we need to pay 1,288 US dollars. So then we are going to get this DB instance, right? So if you are going with partial upfront, so we need to pay $496 now. And after that, like, every month, how many hours you are running, based on that, you are going to get 0.096 USD, right? So that is reserved instances. So now let's navigate to snapshots and navigate to system snapshot. Here you observe one snapshot got created and our database also ready. Here it's in available state, but as I enable automated backup, automatically we got this. Even you can go to automated backup. Here you can find all the automated backup. Now if you want to launch, you can go to actions and click on restore to point in time, or else you can go to snapshots page, system, then pick, you will get bit more options here, restore snapshot. Okay, I'll talk about all these things. So now this DB instance is ready and my EC2 instance also should ready by this time. MSTSE, and give the public IP address, click on connect, administrator, click on connect, I'll go to RDP client, get password, browse the key pair, scroll down, decrypt the password, give the password here, click on OK, give yes. Now we got connected to this EC2 instance. Within this EC2 instance, we have workbench. Just search for workbench. Come on. Yeah, here is a MySQL. MySQL workbench. Open that. These are like, yesterday's one. So I'm going to create a new connection. And we are discussing about snapshots. And here is the host name. Grab the endpoint name of our DB instance, then go and give that here 3306. Admin is a username, test the connection. 123, save this password invite. Connection is success, give double click, and there we got connected to our database. So here first DB is there. Now I want to take a backup of this, or I want to import some database here. So for example, I'm going to import, and I'm going to import this database. Select import from self-contained file. So on top of my desktop, I have a file. I'm selecting that and I'm going to start import. Okay, so the import is completed. So here I have a database. Give a refresh to know that. Right. So here that is completed. So we have two databases here. So now I'm worrying about, like, I'm going to perform some operations on this database. So, or that application team, they're worrying, like, hey Avinash, we are performing these operations, so it might lead to some, like, unexpected issues or database may stale. So to be in safe side, so they're mentioning they want to take a backup copy. They decided to take a backup copy for this database. So when they ask you to take a snapshot, then select this, navigate to actions. Here we have an option, take snapshot. See, we got the system snapshot, but what that system snapshot, when that system snapshot got created, it created at 2:15 UTC. That means almost 15 minutes back, 10 minutes back, 11 minutes back, right? So 11, 7 minutes back. Forget about the time zone. I'm not that much good at time zones. So sometime back, like, 5 minutes or 10 minutes back, it got created. So if you're initiating restoration from this, you will get only first DB. After that, what modification we performed, that is not going to come if you restore from this. So in that case, you can go and you can choose the manual snapshot. Go here, take a snapshot. What is the snapshot name? So manual snapshot. Then click on take snapshot. Now automatically one manual snapshot is creating. So it's going to backup. So then it's going to take some time to create that snapshot. We can go here in this console and we can observe the status of that. It is creating. It might take like, around 5 minutes to complete that job, backup job. Okay, so then we can use the snapshot in future if you are facing any difficulty. So how we can restore? Simple, pick this, go to actions, restore snapshot. So these snapshots we can use similar to EC2 instance mechanism. For example, if you want to copy a DB instance to another region. So for example, you have a volume, you want to copy that volume to another region. How you can do that? We take a snapshot, you copy the snapshot to another region, right? From that snapshot, you create a volume. Technically, both are going to be same. Similarly, if you want to copy a DB instance to another region, just create a snapshot, then copy the snapshot to desired region. Then launch DB instance from the region. So this is option for that. And if we want to share the DB snapshot with another account, DB instance. So create a snapshot, share the snapshot with another AWS account. Similar to our EC2 instances one, create a snapshot, share it. Right. So that is another option we have. And is it ready? Still 0%, 14%. Okay. So here is a manual snapshot and system snapshot. If you got any snapshot from any other account, you will get that here. Shared with me. So if any other user shared any snapshot with you, you will get that here. Similar to our snapshots for EC2, we have public snapshot here in our RDS also. So click on public. So it will show you how many public snapshots you have in this. So total 41 public snapshots we have here. So I really don't know who shared that, why shared that, what is the purpose of this, but they have shared here and you can find all those. So port number 3306 is the MySQL ones and it contains general purpose SSD. So you will get, if you know some snapshot shared some for particular purpose, then you can go here, go to actions, restore snapshot. Options are going to be similar to our RDS instance launch. What DB instance name you want to give and what is the configuration you want to choose. Those all options we can select. Is my internet slow? Okay, no pocket loss still. All right, so what is the engine? It picks automatically. This is the snapshot ID for that. What is the name you want to give in your AWS account? Then you can give it in what VPC you want to run. See, after a database is created, you can't change the VPC selection. So do you want to enable public accessibility? Yes or no? What is the port number you want to go with? And what is the security group you want to? What configuration you want to choose? And what is the storage type? Storage type is a DB cluster. So then password authentication. So we must know the password from the who shared that. So they must share the password with you. So then enable auto menu version upgrade. Then restore DB instance, we are going to get it. So that is public snapshots. If we are using any backup services, we have some backup services like a Veeam backup or Percona extra backup. So if we are using such type of third party backup services, if you have VPN connectivity, we can directly take backups to this backup services. For that, in between, we need to have a device. We need to have a service called storage gateway. So whenever we have, we can directly from on-premise or from any of the third-party services, we can directly backup here. So that is backup service snapshots. Otherwise, if you want to take a snapshot for any of the particular, you can give that. So there is no big difference between this manual one and this backup service, but some services automatically create the backup that you will get it here. That I've never used that. So I don't have much exposure on this particular part, backup service part. Exports in Amazon S3. So now you have a snapshot. You have a snapshot. Whenever you navigate to actions, we have an option called export to Amazon S3. We have an option called export to Amazon S3. So if you are using this export to Amazon S3 option, we can copy this snapshot to Amazon S3, one of the bucket. So then we can import from or we can restore from S3 bucket. So I'm giving a name here. So then what is the file format you are giving? Parquet, Apache Parquet is a file format. It is going to how much data you want to all. So it's going to technically take 20 GB. Right. So then in what bucket you want to store? I want to store within this particular bucket. What is the IAM role you are going to use? You can create a new role for this operation. So this particular snapshot. So, do you want to use any encryption key or else leave it? Pricing details. So we are going to get charged with the S3 pricing. Whenever you click on this export to Amazon S3, this snapshot is going to stored in our S3 bucket. How you can restore? So those all, how many you placed in S3, those all you can find it here. But how to restore? Whenever you navigate to this database screen, restore from S3 option is there. Click on restore from S3. Then you need to choose in what bucket you have all those. So then what is the S3 bucket? So then what is the engine? At moment only these two support. So you can go and pick that. So then what is the DB engine version? What role you are using to get the file from S3 bucket to RDS? What is the DB instance identifier and what is the username password for that backup copy? So before taking that, before exporting it to S3, we are going to have a database. The database is going to contain username and password, right? So those we can give it here. And if you forgot, you can even give a new password also. That also works for us. So then how much storage you want to give? Do you want to give auto scaling? Do you want to give multi-AZ? In what VPC you want to run? Then scroll down and create database. So then we are going to get it's going to restore from S3 to RDS. So that's a backup option where we can store the data in S3 and we can get all the data from S3 to RDS, right? So that is one option. And this snapshot is ready. So let me quickly launch a new database from the snapshot. So basically RDS or any snapshot restoration is not an in-place restoration. So it will restore as a new RDS DB instance. So in-place restoration means, for example, you have this file and you perform some modifications on this file and later on you want to restore. If it is an in-place restoration, previous one is going to be overridden with the latest one. The name is going to be same. For example, I have aws.pdf file. Now I'm trying to copy that. So as let me take, here I have a file called aws.pdf. Now I went to do the same file I'm trying to copy. See here, if I click on this, replace the file in the destination, what happened? Previous file is going to overridden with the latest file. This is in place restoration or overriding. So technically it's in place restoration. Same file is restored as a new one. Okay. But if you are restoring it as another one, you have this file. When I am pasting it here, it is restoring, but is it overridden that existing one? No, it created as a new one. Technically, both are same. It is restored from this one only. So that is, so similarly, when coming to this, it is not an in-place restoration. We will get a new DB instance. So as it is a new DB instance, so we will get new endpoint with new DB endpoint. Okay. So now I'm going to restore from this. So go here, actions, restore snapshot. Click on restore snapshot. So then what is the name you want to give and what is the restoration snapshot ID you are picking? And so this is a snapshot ID we are picking. What is the new name? So restored RDS. In what VPC you want to run? Okay, I decided to run this in different VPC or like same VPC, you can pick that. I'm using same VPC. Why? Because I want to connect from here and I want to show you. So then public accessibility, I'm going to give it no, and security group, I'm going to use same security group, MySQL SG, 3306 is the port number, and I'm going to use T2 micro, general purpose SSD 20 gigs, multi-AZ not enabling, data passport authentication, and additional configurations. So backup, create a point in time snapshot of your database automatically, and enable automated versioning. So restore DB instance. Now I'm restoring from this snapshot. I'm restoring from this particular snapshot. So what I'm going to get? I'm going to get a new DB instance. Here it is. Here it is. Restored RDS is the name. So once it is ready, I'm going to get connected to this DB and I'm going to verify whether we have all the data or not. That I'm going to verify. So again, this is going to take some time. Right. So when coming to these options, you know what exactly stop, reboot, and delete is. Create read replica and promote read replica we discussed yesterday. Take snapshot we discussed now. So now this is your database, right? So you observe and snapshot got created like 40 minutes back or 30 minutes back and your database is down now, or else you want to restore this database to a particular point in time. So for example, how exactly my database is there at April 7th at 8:30 p.m. So can we select such type of particular time frame and all? The answer is yes. For that, navigate to actions, choose restore to point in time. Whenever we pick this restore to point in time, so it is giving, okay, what is the latest restorable time? So the latest restorable time is 8 a.m. That means, so last 6 minutes, it's not backed up. So we can get, so do you want to go to last restorable one? You can pick that. Otherwise, we can specify custom time zone. So I want to get a database. How exactly my database is there at 7:58 a.m. So I want to restore to that. So then go and choose the date. time 7:58 I want to. So then seconds also, like 7:58, 10 seconds. So it is not recommended to give more than this time. That is the latest restorable time. Now, how exactly my database is there at this particular point of time? Similar database it's going to create. What is the name you want to give? Then what is the class you want to choose? Do you want to enable multi-base? And what is the storage you want to give? Do you want to enable storage auto scaling? And connectivity in what VPC you want to run? Then passport authentication, scroll down, restore to point in time. So now what happened? We are going to get a new database here, just like this. We are going to get a new database. That database will give how exactly our primary database is there at 7:58. What settings it contain, whatever the data it have. After that, what modification happened, that won't be restored in the new DB, right? So that is a option, restore to point in time. And whatever the modifications happening on this particular database, do you want to stream it to any of the service? We can use it, but that, like not an old feature that recently introduced, and I have not seen anyone using that, right? So those are some options we have. So let's wait till this up and running, then we can get connected and we can verify. And when coming to Amazon Aurora, so this Amazon Aurora. So basically this Amazon Aurora is Amazon's own database, Amazon's own proprietary database, and it contains two compatible versions. It's a MySQL compatible and PostgreSQL compatible version. And the cost also 1/10th compared to commercial grade database. And so the size it supports is huge compared to another databases. Where is that? The maximum size it's 128 TB. So Amazon Aurora automatically grows a size, and the maximum is Amazon Aurora supports 128 TB as the maximum storage size. But remaining all databases, so I'm going to write down here the maximum max DB size for this max DB size is Amazon Aurora supports 128 TB. Remaining all databases supports only 16 TB. Remaining all databases support 16 TB. In your certification exam, you can expect a question here. You can expect a question on this. And Amazon Aurora, what is that? Compatible. So it is compatible with MySQL and PostgreSQL. That means whatever the tools or command you use with MySQL, if you choose MySQL compatible one, you can use all the same tools. PostgreSQL one, you can use all the same tools. Right, that is the first thing. And we have server and serverless option for this Aurora DB. I'll talk about serverless in some time. Why? Because I'm going to explain DynamoDB also. So basically earlier this Amazon Aurora is maximum 64 TB. I came across some article that got increased. So that's why I went there and I searched. Right. So still backing up. So whenever you are creating okay, since it is ready, I don't know whether it is my system issue or internet issue. When I click after some time, it is loading. So whenever we pick Amazon Aurora, so it is going to ask us one thing. Do you want to go with the MySQL compatible version or PostgreSQL compatible version? You want to go with the provision. That means we are going to get an EC2 instance just like a MySQL DB instance, just like remaining all. You really don't want to manage that. You want to go with the serverless. You can go and pick. Whenever you are picking serverless, it is going to ask us one thing here. How much GB minimum Aurora capacity is one, maximum Aurora capacity. So it is going to scale between these resources automatically. So minimum I want to pick 2 as a Aurora capacity. So 4 GB RAM, and what is the maximum you want to? 122 GB RAM is the maximum I want to give. So what happened based on the load on our database, this configuration is going to change automatically. See, if it is our DB instance, if we are getting performance penalties and all performance issues, what we are going to do? We are going to create a replica, we are going to redirect. If that is also not working, you are going to, as an initial option, you are going to increase the capacity. You need to take some downtime and you need to upgrade that, right? But when coming to Aurora serverless, you no need to choose what is the minimum capacity, choose what is the maximum capacity. See, if you recall auto scaling group in our EC2, what scenarios we have used? So, whenever the load is less, run with the minimum. Whenever load is high, run with the maximum capacity, right? So now also, based on this database, how much load we are getting. If you are not getting any load, it is going to run with 4 GB RAM. If you are getting heavy load, it is going to run with 64 GB of the RAM. So AWS is going to scale these capacities automatically. So that is the serverless mechanism. Again, in remaining all options are same in what VPC you want to run, what. So only thing this is specify the minimum and maximum amount of resources needed, and Aurora scales the capacity based on database load. So this is a good option for intermittent or unpredictable workloads. This serverless based on the load, it is going to. So the provision means, so just like remaining all, we are going to get a DB instance. What configuration you are selecting, based on that configuration, we are going to get performance. So that is the serverless mechanism. Remaining all are same. What tool you are using, everything is going to be same. So this is my database. Now I want to get connected to this database. I want to get connected to my database. Then I want to see whether I got, as I'm restoring it, did I get all the data or not? Similar to this existing one or not? So this name restored from snapshot. I'm giving the host name. Username is going to be admin. Test connection. Password is Avinash123. Give OK. Then OK. So now I'm connecting to restore database. So this is a primary one. I took a snapshot of this. Then from that snapshot, I launched a new DB instance. This is the one. From that DB instance, I connected from here. So when we navigate to schema, see this. We got both the databases. So we just verified, cross-checked from the restored snapshot, we got all the data or not. So that is restoring from the snapshot. Okay, I think I got a question. If it scales out beyond maximum limit. See, whenever you are setting maximum, so that is the only resource it is going to allocate. More than maximum, will it give? For example, human can live maximum 100 years, right? More than 100 years, there is no chance. Whenever you are setting, whenever you are setting a maximum limit, as it is a pre-configured setting, forget about human life. So, yeah. So, for example, you have a hardware. Your laptop hardware is upgradable to only 16 GB. Can you install 64? Can we get 64 GB
No,
RAM? All right.
I thought it would expand up to 164 TB, right? It's fine, right? If it's restricted till the maximum that we give.
See, based on maximum value you are selecting. See, in auto scaling group, you are selecting, okay, scale between 1 to 4 instances. If we got heavy load, we are going to get 4 instances. Are we,
Maximum.
if maximum load is there, 90, all the 4 instances, 99% CPU utilization is utilized. Is it going to launch any more instances?
No.
No, right? Why? You have defined maximum capacity as the 4. Similarly, here, whenever you are selecting serverless, how much you are setting as a maximum? See, the maximum we have to till 256 capacity units. That is technically 488 GB of the RAM. If you want, you can give minimum available, maximum available here. So if you want to set it, you really don't want to go beyond that, then you can set up like this.
Okay.
Is that answer your question?
Yes.
Okay. So that is a restoring from the snapshot, right? So that is all about the RDS. And whenever you are trying to delete this, it will ask us, do you want to create a final snapshot? Uncheck this if you don't require. And retain automated backups. So this automated backup window is set as a 2 days, right? So if you don't want to delete these automated snapshot, it got created here. So you don't want to delete these at moment. In that case, you can select retain automated snapshot. Whenever you select retain automated snapshot, it won't delete those snapshot for coming 2 days. After 2 days, course it is going to delete automatically. So I'm not going to select that. I really don't require final snapshot also. I acknowledge that and I'm going to give delete me. Then scroll down, click on delete. So we deleted the first one and we are deleting the second one as well. I don't require final snapshot. I don't want to retain automated backup. Delete me. Scroll down, click on delete. And one more thing, we have created a manual snapshot that is not going to delete. See, these are the system snapshots. Can we delete a system snapshot? There is no option to. You cannot delete this snapshot. Why? Because it's a system snapshot. Along with the DB, it is going to delete. Otherwise, you need to change automated backup window value. So then only it's going to. So leave the system backups, it's going to delete automatically. But if you create anything in manual, just go and delete these snapshots. Okay. So that is all about RDS. Now, when coming to another database options, so we have another database option that is a DynamoDB. Right. So when coming to this DynamoDB, it is a serverless architecture. As I mentioned here, serverless. So we can define how many requests, read operations you are required, write operations you required for this database. So based on the specified value, our DB is going to give the performance. So in backend, no server is going to run. So here you can find DynamoDB. Just go here. Amazon DynamoDB is a scalable NoSQL data store that manages distributed replicas of your data for high availability. So when coming to DynamoDB, so we don't have much things to perform with DynamoDB. When coming to DynamoDB, it's a serverless database. So of course we are going to have servers, but who manages server? AWS manages the server. We are not going to get access to the server. AWS manages it, right? So navigate to this. Let me delete this jump server also. I no longer require this. Navigating to DynamoDB. And one thing, whenever you find this word, blindly choose answer as a DynamoDB. When coming to certification point of view, whenever you find this, okay, we need a DynamoDB with with single digit millisecond latency at large scale of data or at any scale of data, then go and choose DynamoDB as an option. So this is the only database that gives single digit millisecond latency compared to RDS and all, right? So click on create table. See, in our RDS, when we have created the table, so we have first launched the DB instance. On top of this DB instance, we install some tool, or we need to get connected to this DB instance from another server. We must have another server to get connected to this RDS. Directly, you cannot get connected to this DB instances. So from one of the server, you can connect to this DB. So then you are going to have a database. You need to connect to the database. Within this database, you are going to have all the data in tabular format. You are going to have all rows and columns, right? But when coming to Aurora, no DB instance required, no need to connect from external server, directly create your table. Directly create your table. If you want, you can get connected from an EC2 instance, or else directly go to an option in the console itself and start writing, inserting all the data and all. So no DB instance, no configuration. But what about the performance? Whenever you are creating this table, you need to choose that value. How many read operations you required, how many write operations you required. That option you need to choose. So here, click on create table. What is the table name you want to give? So you can give, okay, I want to call this as school database. So then what is the primary key you want to give for this database? Primary key, 99% of the times we will choose a unique one. So for example, student ID is a unique, primary key I'm going to choose. The student ID is going to be string, binary or a number. Okay, I want to give student ID as a number. Of course, you can choose anything. So I'm going to give it as a string or number, so you can. So now remaining all options, it's going to pick defaultly. So no secondary index it's going to, and auto scaling group is going to enable. By defaultly, we are going to get read unit capacities and write unit capacities. And it is going to, whenever 70% of the load on this one, it is going to add more read capacity and write capacity units automatically whenever you're going with the default setting. And encryption at rest is going to be enabled by default. There is no option to disable the encryption for this DynamoDB. So click on use default, uncheck that use default setting. If you want to give any secondary indexes, you can give that here. Now, read or write capacity mode. So if you are going with the provisioned mode, it comes under free tier eligibility. In bracket, you can say it's a free tier eligibility. Okay. If you want to go with the on demand means it's going to scale to unlimited. For example, at moment, you got million records to write to this table. Yes, It supports million records also without any latency. But we are going to get for that. We get charged for that. So we will get charged based on the load. So it scales automatically. No minimum, no maximum. You are getting 1,000 requests now. In next second, you are getting 10,000 requests. Yes, it scales automatically. That is what the advantage. That's why Amazon is telling, okay, single digit millisecond latency at any scale. If your data is scaled massive, then no issue. So that is a, in that case, we need to choose on demand. But like, if you want to be under free tier limitation, you can choose provision. So what is this provision means? We are limiting our maximum capacity to these values. Of course, we can enable auto scaling. So the minimum capacity is 5, maximum capacity I want to give 1,000. Minimum capacity 5, maximum capacity is 1,000. So whenever among this, whenever 70 percentage minimum utilization, like it's 70 percentage is utilized on the selected values here. For example, minimum is 1, maximum is 1 here. So this is a values we manually selected. So it is going to scale between 1 to 1,000 whenever 70% utilization is happening on this database values. So it scales between. If you don't want to, then uncheck this and you can define, okay, I want to scale till maximum of 5 read capacity units and 5 write capacity units. So I'm going with 1 read capacity, 1 write capacity unit. And the cost is $0.67 per month for this. Of course, we selected provisioning, so it comes under free tier eligibility. So defaultly it picks 5, so we are good with the 5 also. But this DynamoDB is basically is cheap for read capacity units and costly for write capacity units. Okay, so the cost is going to be huge for write capacity units. See, I have given 100 capacities and cost is 55. If I gave 100 here, not that much, like so I'm going with 1 read capacity and 1 write capacity in it, and I'm not going to enable auto scaling. So then what is the encryption key? So you must choose one of the supported encryption key, default encryption, CMK, KMS, you can pick. I'm going with default encryption key. Scroll down, click on create. Now we are going to get a database table. That capacity we have defined here, 1 read capacity and 1 write capacity. Now we can start adding items here. So this is a database and it is active, right? So now we can start adding all the required information here, or else we can get connected to this DB table from our EC2 instance, or else we have a DynamoDB offline tool also we can download and we can get connected to it. I'll share you an article for that. So now I'm going to create some items here in this DynamoDB table. Click on create item. What is a student ID? 100 is a student ID. Append, it's going to add below. Insert, it's going to add above. Append, so then I'm going to take a string. So then first name Avinash, last name, then append, I'm going to pick number, that is contact. So then save. So one record got created here. So you can create a couple of records. I just want to show the query the table. Basically, we don't insert these values manually. So from application itself, we are going to. So first name, number, that is nothing but contact. Save, I'll add one more. And number. Okay, I have couple of records here. I have couple of records here where student ID is going to be unique for every user. Now you want to filter something, or whenever you have millions of the records also, you can go to items and you can filter that here. So for that, add filter. So then what is the attribute? Okay, I want to take where student ID is equal to a string, that is equal to, not equal to, between, or you can choose based on your requirement. Where student ID is equal to 100, I want to start searching. See, it is showing that result. So similarly, we can add a number of the values here, millions of the tables also we can add. So another thing here, for example, this maintenance, like, this capacity units is there. Now it is using provision capacity units with one read capacity and one write capacity. You have observed this metric and it is running with, like, out of one read capacity, it's already used one. So I decided to upgrade that. So database table is active. We can navigate to capacity. I want to make this as a two capacity units. Just go here, save. So this table is updating. And is it taking any downtime? No, we no need to take any downtime, and it is active in fraction of seconds. It is already active, up and running. So it's not going to take much time to update the values, or updating the capacity. It's not going to take that much time. So no downtime required. And if you want to convert it to demand or on demand, yes, you can just go and you can choose the on demand also, right? So based on our requirement, simply we can increase this value, save, increase the value, save. That's it, nothing more than that. And here is a matrix about that. And here is what are the data we have inside this. So similarly, if you want to create any backup, you can pick this database table, go to backups. So here is a backup, create a backup option, click on create backup. What is the database table? What is the backup name? So school DB backup, pick that, click on create. So what happened? Automatically one backup is going to create here. One backup got created. Whenever you want to restore, again, it's not an in-place restoration. It is going to restore as a new one. So pick this, restore backup. So what is the new table name you want to give? Restore entire table data or only restore without second indexes? We can give that. Do you want to restore in the same region or you want to restore in different region? You can pick that. What is the encryption key you want to use? Then scroll down, click on restore table. So then immediately another table is going to restore, and this table is going to, contain whatever the data we have. So it's a on the go. So simply create a table, get connected to it, start using it. So how exactly we have provided S3 access to private subnet EC2 instances by using endpoint. Similarly, if your application is running in private subnet, if your application is running in private subnet, we can create an endpoint and we can make it available. So to understand this DynamoDB completely, I want you to go through one article, guys. So everything is well written and screenshotted. Um, it's well written, and step by step procedure is there. So you can deploy that application. I want you to go through that. So this is that application. It's from AWS only. So how to deploy a tic-tac-toe application in AWS environment? So first deploy and test it locally. Take an EC2 instance, test it if you don't have enough resources to configure and all. So step one, go here, download the required packages, like, you need to install Python, you need to install Flask and DynamoDB, Git obviously required. So articles also available here. Download Python here. So then go and install pip. After you install pip, you can install Flask, Boto. So config parser, install that. So then install Git and clone this URL to your local machine and start the application by running this command. So then whenever you go to browser, when you give this, you will get this. So if you are able to get this page, that is working correctly. So then you can create a user and you can play tic tac toe. I hope you know what exactly this game is. So then as a step two, examine the data models, how exactly it is working. So then where it is updating in that locally and all, just give that. So after that, deploy it to and production environment. That means how to create a role, how to create a table in DynamoDB, so then bundle and deploy the tic-tac-toe application into an Elastic Beanstalk. You know how to create an Elastic Beanstalk instance. So go and deploy it. And next step is cleaning the resources. So you can make it available for end user. This is the Elastic Beanstalk. So over the internet also it is going to work. So please try to complete this task to understand. See, more than this, I cannot show on this DynamoDB. Whenever you are performing this task, you will come to know how DynamoDB is working, how exactly it is working, and all that you can. Right. So we even recently DynamoDB offline client. So there is a downloadable version of DynamoDB is there. So go and install this. I'll suggest you to perform these in an EC2 instance. So if you don't have Python, all those things in your local laptop. So try to perform those two. And here database is restored. And if we go here, if you observe the item, we have all the items. So we have some more small options on the database that we will discuss tomorrow, right? And any questions on this, guys? I just need to catch up another thing. So if you have any questions, you can post in our Slack channel. Otherwise, tomorrow as a first thing, we will discuss. If you have any questions, so then we can. So who haven't performed this particular task, so please spare some time and please try to perform and try to complete the DynamoDB tasks also. Right? So we'll connect tomorrow. So then we will discuss everything there. Right? So thanks for understanding. See you tomorrow, guys.